Oh, little purple bitch. Look at the titties. Get the hair. This hairstyle by me. Oh. Hey Susan, I'm back. Welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my signature drag face. So I haven't really done my signature drag face on here because I have been trying to tailor it more to kind of what general people want, the more natural but still draggy kind of stuff. This is like pure campery, intense makeup. I'm going to be painted. It's gonna be a journey. So let's get into it. I'm gonna do like a full drag look for the first time in a while. I'm gonna give myself big old titties. It's gonna be a time. By the way, oh, sorry, I forgot to do the thing. Hey Susan, welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. To this, to nothing. So, first step, get hair out of the face. And now, I've had all these hoes on the TikToks saying that I bring my hairline too forward, which, you know what, I just do the easier way of securing wigs when I'm on TikTok, because I don't care. But I'm going to show you as well how I normally secure my wigs when I'm doing a gig. So I bring it back to reveal my hair. And the reason I don't do this for TikTok is I get duct tape all on my natural hairline. Because I scoop back to grab any of the baby hairs, scoop back up around, and then I bring it around the back. So I like to take just like a paddle brush, and then I get my foundation. I literally use Superstay by Maybelline. I think they replaced this, or like did something with it. Bring it back. The activewear or whatever it is kind of drag phobic. You know, let's cancel the activewear and bring this bitch back. Because like, look at that coverage. You know what the activewear doesn't have that coverage. It's waterier. I have a friend that bought it thinking it was the original, because they love the original too. And it was some activewear bullshit. And like, not about that life. So, one of the biggest things, even though it's drag makeup, it doesn't mean you need to be wearing a lot of makeup everywhere. Like, more makeup than a normal person, sure. But only enough where it covers. You don't need to like cover your forehead and then add more to it, you know? Because like that, it's covered my forehead completely. Like maybe there's like a tiny dot or something coming through, but it doesn't matter. Because once we powder and everything, you're not going to see it. It's just going to blend in even more. Mocha. It's the shade Mocha from Superstay Foundation in the stick. I use this as my cream contour and brow color. So I just get a little bit on a round brush. So the way I kind of do my brows is I start kind of above where my natural brow would be. So like I want the bottom of my drag brow to be the top of where my natural brow was. And I do really like the roundness of my brow. That's not going to be round enough. So now if I fuck up the shade, I just get some more foundation, put it on the paddle brush, and the reason I use the paddle brush is because I can just like clean it. I'd normally use like a buffing brush in like normal makeup or a beauty blender, but you're wearing so much powder you don't see the texture that the brush creates. You see the powder. So it's just like, is it really worth it if you don't see any of the work that's under it, you know? I'm gonna say that's the shape I want. Let me just clean it up to check that. So I'm just gonna take this, and I think I've changed quite a bit with how I do my drag makeup, because I used to go in with a very natural makeup philosophy. Now I'm just gonna take a clown white, different section of my hand. The back of your hand is the best tool, no matter what type of makeup you're doing, because you can heat up products so it works better. Because you really don't want like thick cakey clown white, otherwise it's going to peel off and sweat off. You want to try to get a thin layer of clown white, and you do that by warming it up. See, that's a fierce brow. Sometimes I bring my brow down even more, sometimes I don't. I change it up, but I do like my brow to be fairly high and comical. So I'm not like, it's not like the starkest white in most places, because stark white is kind of gross. Like, if something's just too white, it won't look right on a face. So I'm just going to complete that on the other side. Symmetry is always my biggest struggle because I have a habit of doing my better eye first, which is not the best. Okay, let's talk about TikTok, because TikTok really annoys me. Most of the queens on there don't perform, ever, or like have no experience, because I don't really perform now, but I don't have experience. So they judge you on the way you do things, even though the reason you do things is because that's how you need to do things for it to actually last when you're performing. Or like another thing I really can't stand is people coming for my wig line, because it's like, it's TikTok. I'm not going to glue it down. I'm not getting paid for TikTok. I don't really even get paid for gigs. So like, but I will glue it down for a wig because I want to look flawless in person. But for a 10-second TikTok, especially since for me, TikTok is secondary. I do it for photos and then I just post it because I already have it on. I feel like that's as even as I'm going to get it. I just need to crisp up this line. So what I do, and this will also hide a bunch, is I do ombre my brows, which like, I'm not the biggest fan of an ombre brow because I often find they just don't look correct on a face. But the way I do them is I ombre them and then I really work on the solid ombre. I build that up and then I add hair strokes. Because unless you have hair strokes, an ombre just looks wrong. Like RuPaul's brows, for example. I hate his eyebrows. I also hate Raven's eyebrows, which is like, Raven, the makeup queen, how dare you hate her eyebrows? Like, they just never look good to me. And then I'm gonna bring back some of the foundation again. Also, it's better to start with less product and build your way up to product, because you can't take away product. Just use my eyebrow color, whatever's left on it. So, I just kind of stamp. My nose often gets compared to Blue Hydrangea. I don't get it. It's like, Blue didn't invent the two lines. The two queens I actually copied this from. And yeah, I'm not afraid to admit that I copied part of my makeup. Olympia Avalanche and Magnolia Crawford. And then I'm just gonna tap that out. Tap, 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 tap. You know what I find funny? At school I had someone come up to me and they were like, do you watch Drag Race? And I'm not saying that because I think you get, I'm like, child, anyways, though, I'm gonna start up a little bit here, so I'm just gonna tap it and let that dip a little bit. Because really, it's such a subtle contour, it'll just like bring this all forward and bring this further back, which I'm not mad at. So yeah, now I can set everything. And I'm just gonna take a powder puff, biggest one I could find. And then I'm putting it into baby powder. Don't do this, but also just do it. Just don't breathe in any of the just don't breathe in any of the baby powder. And really, more is more, especially on the eyelids. So I've set everything. I'm now going to take a fluffy little powder brush. I'm gonna have such a tension headache by the end of this. Get rid of the powder. Fuck, the back of my head is, coffee break. So I start on my eyeliner now, which is a big change for me. Because I used to be like, I don't get queens that start on their eyeliner. I am now a queen that starts on their eyeliner. So I just kind of go straight up, like that. And now this is just kind of a rough shape. So this is just a map. I'm going to make it bigger at the end. So this is not the final size of the eye. It's going to be bigger. But the reason I start smaller is because then when I'm doing the perfecting, it gets bigger. Okay, that's even enough. POV, I'm doing your wedding makeup. We'll call that even for now. It's not, but we'll work that on the perfecting stage. Now we're going to start on the eyeshadow. So I'm using a nondescript palette that I don't know where I got from. But this is like, think of this as like your lightest shade that you're going to use. And I'm just bringing it off this nose contour that we made. So I'm using a very fluffy brush, I'm using a very light hand, and I'm holding the brush all the way down at the end so I have less control, so it blends softer. Like, look at that, that's such a soft, sexy blend. Anyway, the reason you're holding it down the bottom is because then you have less control. And if you have less control, it looks better because it blends more. I'm going in with like a purple, more wine shade. And then I'm just gonna build that up from the outer corner. Like right here. So yeah, essentially we've just lifted our whole eye up a bunch, and that's all we've done. Don't actually do that much with my eyes, because I like everything to look simplistic. We might bring it in a little bit more on the top of the nose, because we want the eyes and nose to kind of almost blend together. And then I just like to bring it up a little bit. So like, take the purple and feather it just up into the brow. Look at that, it just brings it up just a tiny bit, and brings the brow more into it. if you can kind of see that. But yeah, just try to keep all the blending nice and soft. Then we're gonna go into a really dark purple shade. And then we're just gonna go down here and we're gonna bring it up, coming off the liner almost. And just slowly work that forward towards here, because we want this to just really be the shade that makes our cut crease look nice and crisp. So I'm gonna now add the final little color, which is black. I'm gonna get a much smaller brush. Like, this is a normal size brush for like normal eye work, I guess. But I'm just gonna bring it out and across. I haven't filmed in such a long time that I've kind of forgotten what I'm doing. Also, I think I now have like 100 subscribers, so that's happened, teehee. And then it's just kind of because I've had it very bright that it's been washing this out. So I think here's probably a sweet spot for it right now, because you can kind of see some of the depth. Now I guess we're gonna start on cutting the crease. So I'm gonna go back into some clown white, and I'm gonna get some clown white on the same brush I used the clown white on before. Warm it up on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna just kind of stamp. And I don't know why I do it, but I bring it down at the end. I don't know, maybe I just like the depression paint of Lawrence Chaney. I don't know how I just did that, but I hit myself on something. There we go. Now I'm going to put a yellow down, a bright yellow. So I'm not sure how I feel about this, but I'm just going to commit to it because it's happened. Like, I haven't done drag in a while and it shows. Now the liner I use is the Hyper Sharp Wing by Maybelline because, I don't know, it's just the best. I can only get really good liner with this. I'm increasing the size that I normally do my liner so that I hide more of this. I'm just like doing everything down here, but like, when in doubt, make your eyeliner bigger. I just like this line has a thick and thin. Like every single time I get good at out of drag makeup, I get bad at drag makeup and vice versa. Could have worse symmetry. This is gonna have to be good enough. Now we're gonna go into the brows because I have a lot of crap to do on the brows. I get a face painting brush. This is the one I actually use for my boy brows because it just gets you the finest little hair strokes ever of life. Dip into like a brown shade and then start kind of far back, you know, and you just kind of start, I guess, filling it in, but you use like little hair-like strokes. There we go. So now that's one brow. Not quite done, but like the bulk of it's done. And now I just want to try to match it on the other side. So let's talk Drag Race Down Under just a tiny bit, because I know little Miss JoJo's a hoe first out. She didn't deserve to be first out, but anyway, I know Miss First Out. Friends with her for a bit, and she's one of the nicest queens I've ever met. And I've noticed a lot online. People are like, "Oh, she was trying to be Shea Coulee." It's like her nude illusion look was not at all what Shea was giving. It was very different just because it's two queens of color wearing a bodysuit with its nude illusion. They're done completely differently. It's not the same. Can we stop? I've seen a lot of people being incredibly racist towards JoJo, and it has pissed me off to no end. Like, oh, you should have represented the beaches, not this always was, always will be bullshit. I'm like, firstly, Seasickening was the next runway. Also, our beaches are kind of trashy, so fuck off. And also, you're not the one serving the look, so cut on your tits. Like, if I get on the show, I know what look I'm doing, and it's not beaches. And I've also talked to some other queens, and they wouldn't do beaches either, so... like, what are you gonna be? Be a basic bitch in a bikini? Oh, also I'm now going in with a darker brown to add more dimension. And the reason I'm, like, doing that is because it pinches the brush really fine to get it very hair-like. I'm like, if you're doing this, make sure you clean your brushes all the time. But if you're doing it on another person, use water and then pinch it with your fingers. Like the few times I've put people in drag, I have not went... I use water and then I just go like, you know, but on myself it's quicker. I'm now going into like a black. I'm just doing it on the very tail, a couple lines. So that's my brow pretty complete. Now, our eyes are done. Well, not quite done, but until we've done the rest of the face, we can't do the rest of the eye. So, I'm just gonna take my fucking petal brush again. I'm going to, work in stages. So actually, I want to get my clown white and my small petal brush. And I want to get some of that eye here. Warm it up in the back of my hand. I'm just kind of whack it in the high points. In here, a little bit. Now I'm not going all the way up to the eye, I'm kind of cutting it off because that's going to blend up and we want under the eye to be the thinnest part. And then I want somewhere over here under my nose because I really want my lip to just come forward. I also do like to emphasize my chin a lot, which may seem odd, but I don't know, I just like having the pointy chin moment. But I'm going to take a buffing brush. I'm just going to like buff that out a little bit. This is called underpaying. Oh my god, she's an ally. Beauty blender, this one's just dry. I'm just pressing it right up under the eye. There we go. And now we're going to start on everything else. So, normal foundation, original paddle brush, revolutionary. I'm just filling the dead space. Now I would wear nowhere near this much normally, but I want to cover everything. But I'm still not using, really, an overly excessive amount of product. Like that's 2 pumps. I've probably used about 8 pumps, maybe more, which seems like a lot, but really, for drag, that's nothing. I'm getting a stippling brush, or the buffing brush we used. They're both kind of the same, a buffing and a stippling brush. You can use them for either. Marry the edges, marry everything. And now we're going to work on the contour. I've got to contour my forehead, but oh well. Do a dot, bring it down. Start here, do a dot, bring it down. Because the shape that we're going to try to create is like a... That one's a lot higher. I'm just going to cut off this entire part of my cheek now. And I'm going to take the same buffing brush, because I'm a psychopath. I'm just going to like stipple, stipple, stipple. And I'm going to slowly bring that down while stippling. And just create that nice blended finish. I do bring it down, all the way down the face. If you look here, it goes. Because that's the kind of shape that I like. I feel like not many queens do this. Not to be like, oh my god, I'm so quirky, no one else does this. But part of my whole process of getting rid of my jaw also includes bringing like my contour all the way down. And also if this is down, this lifts even more. I guess it depends what you're going for. If you're going for like woman, don't bring the contour down. If you're going for like little plastic dolly bitch, do bring it down. I'm gonna put a little bit more on the stippling brush. Just gonna build it up a little bit more here. I do cut my jaw just a little bit. Like, look at that. Look at that. You know, sometimes I just don't... I think I look exactly the same in and out of drag makeup, but then realize that's because you were here every step of the process. If someone just came in, saw you out of drag, saw you in drag, with none of the in-between, you wouldn't look the same at all to them. As long as you're doing it right, of course. And then, for the pointy chin look, I'm just going to kind of bring it up here on both sides, just a tiny bit. And that's just going to really point that chin straight forward. That's it for the creams. I've been forgetting about my coffee. So just really load that with powder. By powder, I mean talc. And you just press it. Now, I don't wear powder out of drag at all, really. Yet in drag, I'm just like... So, like, powder is very important for drag. Because it doesn't matter how you look up close. Unless you're on TikTok. But yeah, it really... I like my makeup to look good up close, but I don't care about the texture up close. But I do care about, like, the details in the actual makeup. Because I will sacrifice the texture that powder gives you for sexiness from a distance throughout the whole night. It's like longevity versus looking. Longevity is always going to be what rules it for me, and also talcum powder. The reason I use that is it's so finely milled. Also it's talc, and talc is an anti-sweating agent, and since I'm sweaty, that's good for me to keep my face on. But also, it's just finer milled, so you need to be up closer to see texture than you would with any other powder. So I can see a little bit of crap cut here. So how I'm going to fix that is I'm going to take a white powder foundation, which I think anyone should have in their arsenal. It's very cheap. I think it was like $4 when I got it. And you just press that into the sides, because I can see just a little bit of the black fallout residual right there. I'm just gonna press that all the way in here, and you might be thinking, wouldn't this powder create more texture? And I'm like, yes. But then it also, look at this highlight compared to that highlight. It's just day and night. There we go. Just to get it down the nose. Oh, and I'm just gonna blend that out using my big powder brush. Actually, you know, I'm gonna do the eyes first because I want to get this eye out the way. So I'm just gonna get the same shades we used up top, and I'm gonna bring them just down the bottom, starting with the lightest shade. I just accidentally dipped into the absolute darkest shade, so I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, and build it up here. I'm really not on my game today. I'm gonna be taking the shade Punch Me from the nondescript palette. It's like a nice brown that's kind of cool toned. The reason you want a cool tone brown and not a warm tone brown is because you're making a shadow. And shadows, because they're not getting sunlight, are cool. And look, my nose is so tiny. It's gonna enforce the rest of the contours with the same shade. Then we're gonna add some depth. So I'm actually gonna use a shade darker than I should. I'm gonna use the same shade I used as the lightest shade on our eyebrows. I'm just gonna apply it to the absolute outer edges. I have so many people critiquing me like, oh, you need to blend, and it's like, no, I don't. Because look, you can see that everything's there, but you can't really actually see the stopping and starting point other than down here, which is where I want a stopping point. You know, I want that part to be visible. And I'm also going to put the dark one just under the nose. Oh, she's a woman. Oh. Gonna go in, I'm just going to put some white on the end of a beauty blender. I'm just going to go cut that part right there. There we go. I like the line to look strongest up top and kind of almost fade but still follow through, you know, and just meet up with the chin. Just because I find it just really minimizes this jaw, even though it looks like it should maximize it. It minimizes it because it's sneaky. This is sad. And I'm gonna do the clown. No. How am I this all over the place? I'm gonna get an orange, bright orange. And this is my blush, because I like orangey blushes. I'm just gonna like use it here. Just generally in this vicinity. Just gonna swirl it. Oh, stunning. And also that may look unblended. That's just because of my natural cheek structure. It does mess with some things. So I just try to work with it instead of against it. I'm gonna take some pink. Like I want a pretty pink, not like a clown pink. I'm gonna take this maxi blush. It's like this pink. I'm gonna smother my brush in it, absolutely smother. I'm just gonna put it in the outer corner. I feel like I've achieved the dot finally. Now the lips. Lips are always a journey for me. So purple liquid lip. I normally like doing lip liners, but I can't do a lip liner with a purple because I don't have a purple lip. I'm just gonna create an X coming off my natural Cupid's bow. So I've essentially just doubled my Cupid's bow. And I'm just gonna really go with it. Now see how heavy that bottom lip looks? What I'm gonna say is I got into pointed lips before they were a trend, so quirky girl. So now I'm gonna let this dry. While this is drying, I'm gonna do my mascara. More talk on fucking Drag Race Down Under. Coco slayed. Absolutely slayed Electra in that lip sync. What the fuck was that? Also, why was Electra in the bottom? You know, I also thought that Coco kind of did well. So, I just don't like trying to. I'm also gonna take an eyeliner now. I'm just gonna just do a tiny little line under this. And that's gonna act like just a tiny little shadow. And then we're about to be able to start powdering with our lips. You won't be powdering the lips. What the fuck is that? And it's not much, honestly. I'm just gonna take the darkest purple we used on our lips, on our eyes. I'm just gonna have the lip done and be right back. With my millionth gripe with Drag Race Down Under, people keep saying ketamine's name wrong. It's like, it's not ketamine, it's ketamine. Like, I don't have an Australian accent, even though I was born here. But like, it's not that hard to work it out. There we go. And now I'm gonna take the blending brush and I'm gonna dip into the lightest petal and just blend the two back and forth. So now is where we finish off the eyes. So firstly I'm gonna get some clown white for the millionth time. And I'm just gonna do, firstly, rub it just on the hand, more to get it thin than warm it up, because this is gonna be cakey. Fuck. Rub that till it goes away. Now I used to use eyeliner, but NYX Drag Phobic and discontinued both of their white liners, and water activated paints just don't cut it. Because like, water activated paint is water activated. I need this shit to be sweat proof. A sponge as well, because I just really need to, this needs to be seat. And then now that it's seat, I'm just gonna wipe it away. And suddenly I have a little nose highlight. And then I'm gonna take it again and I'm gonna do a little eye highlight just underneath here. Let me work this nice and thin. Also, this is 100% just an art brush. And then now I'm gonna set this, just using talcum powder once again. I miss my NYX white liner, specifically the one that was the liquid one, because I would use that for so much shit. I would do little ballerina lines, which are the lines that just come up underneath your liner or going out. Because they were, to me, they were the moment. Well, they still kind of are amazing, but like, there's a 50-50 chance I'd still be doing ballerina lines. If I did, I'd probably bring them out more. Because the reason I originally started doing them was I did it once to clean up my eyeliner, and I liked it. But I was doing it here. Now, I'm pretty happy with this eye. Now I'm going to add the final bit of black liner. So the final bit of black liner I add, if I can find my goddamn black liner, I put it back in the drawer. That's the first. It's probably the only product I put back in the drawer. The rest is allowed on my table. So I'm gonna like find the thin side of this. That's not the most precise, but it'll do. This line is a lot harder to do than the main line. But why is that line so much cleaner, and why is there a white halo around it? I don't know. What did I do? Haha. Swipey swipey, swipe for no swiping. And then I'm gonna take my little blending brush. I'm just gonna fucking blend over that to try to blend it in. Mirror all the colors. Mirror. Fuck, Mirror, kill. Not my absolute best wig, but it's not bad, honestly. Now I'm going to do my highlighting, and I just take, this is the Fenty Beauty Moon Prism, Moon Metal highlight. And then I just smother my face in this. I get a dense brush, I just go all throughout the center, because I want it to look, say it with me, plastic, like a little shiny plastic. Now I'm gonna go get a dress on, and then I'm gonna show you how I contour my boobies. I'm back, and I'm in full body. Body yoddy yoddy, putting the ass in Newcastle. Oh. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, bum, ba-dum. I feel fucking crazy. So, we're gonna get you some tits. Anyway, let's get you some tits. So I have this bra. It's a gross push-up bra, 16D, because that is just a good size. Because it's one size smaller than I want it to be. Because I want a 16 double D. So how I do it is I just slot in. This is like a pair of old stockings. This is a pair of old stockings. They're filled with like literally like stuffing from like a teddy bear. And I'm just gonna, so these are like double D, maybe even more equivalent. So what they'll do is they'll push together literally all of the fat and muscle you already have. Like, look at that. That's already a nice set of boobs, if you ask me. And then we're just gonna enhance this with some creams and with some powders. So I'm gonna take a buffing brush and I'm gonna take the cream foundation that we used earlier, the dark one. I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna start kind of sketching, just like a little follow the shape that we got given. So I used to do my tits very differently to this. I used to just build up darkness down here and slowly taper it up. Now I do the more separated breasticles. Or in my phone camera, because that's what I use. Oh no, I've been exposed. I'm flicking between that view and my mirror down here that I have balanced perfectly to land right on my titties. And I'm just going to blend it all the way down because you don't want your titties to just suddenly stop. Got a little bit on my finger, so I'm just going to wipe it down off here. And it's fine because we're going to put foundation on our fingers because we're a masochist. Yes, we are. We're a misogynist little masochist little pussy bitch. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the boob. Oh, look at me needing to stop holding that so I stop getting it on my finger and wasting product. This one looks nicer than this. So we're going to get more product and we're going to build it up more. Look at those boobs. Oh, don't you want to just melt about them? Let's give me some clavicles because it's also sexy. So I'm just going to kind of find my clavicle and just accentuate that line right there. And now when that's over, oh, who's that little clavicle bone you've got here? And then I'm gonna just contour right here a little bit too, because then it's gonna just kind of strengthen that clavicle a little bit more. Oh, clavicle. Oh, Gorgina, George. Can't believe I used to not do my clavicle. Can't wait to take some photos, do a TikTok, and then walk around my house like this for the rest of the day. Even though it's like, it's honestly dark outside, I might still try getting a photo outside. I'm going to use this Revolution concealer. It's in the shade C3. I was grabbing C05 accidentally. And then I'm just going to take this. I'm going to put it on a little itty bitty baby brush. Well, on the back of my hand and then onto the itty bitty baby brush. I'm going to separate that. Oh, just give it a little bit more breasticle separation. And also, I'm going to put it up here because that's going to cover my razor bumps. I miss being a little twink, honestly, because then shaving was just so much less work and I could just go right in. Honestly, one of the first thing JoJo's a Hoe complimented me on was my tits, because I've always been good at tits and they always look kind of natural and not super drawn on, and that's kind of just what I aim for. So I did my old tit style then. Here's my new one because I have less tit fat now, which is great for me, not so great for my drag, but you improvise, you learn how to adapt. Now we're just going to powder that all with, you guessed it, talcum powder. Use like a fluffy brush though. I'm just gonna tap off the excess. Just gonna just dust it in there. The reason we're not patting in as much is we want to try to not get fallout all over our beautiful dress that was $14 off a sale rack from I think it was Valley Girl. But honestly, it's my favorite dress, and I don't know, it's just my favorite dress, so I wear it all the time. Also, currently my drag wardrobe is really small. Like, I've got a bunch of stuff that I've made myself. And by a bunch, I mean a couple things, because I don't know where my sewing machine is, and I haven't known for a while. So, only one of my things has been sewn with the machine by me. I've got a bunch of stuff that I've been hand sewing, hot gluing, paper folding. I've got one really big outfit planned that's coming towards the end of this year. I've been working away at it since literally like early last year, but it changed plans, so I've realistically been working for like probably half a year. About to be three terms, I guess. And now that we've powdered our boobs, we're gonna highlight our boobs with a highlighter. So we're just gonna go right here, because here's where you want the light to hit. Think about how you can make your boobs look juicy, and just highlight where they will look juicy. Juicy couture. Wow, my tits look great. Let's add a little bit more to the face, just for good measure. Now we're gonna add the wig. So I'll be right back in like 3 seconds. Another little, oh my fuck off. Fuck off. Oh, I'm the only woman that exists. Also, this is a wig I hand styled myself, so get into it. Oh, it's my favorite wig creation that I have made for myself to date. So, now I'm gonna pin it in. So I have, these are my bobby pins. These are my U-pins. The difference, U-pins are sexy because they don't ruin your lace, because they are untipped. They're also incredibly painful. So I'm just gonna find a spot where I can hide a pin. So behind some hair, flick it in towards the front. I just fucked up my makeup with that pin. It doesn't need it. And I'm just gonna pin it back. And then with the makeup that fucked up, I'm just gonna smudge it back into place. I'm really happy with the hairline on this wig too. It like blends in with my skin a lot better than most of my wigs. Cause all of my wigs, including this one, this bad boy, is from Amazon. Amazon.com. Standing Jeff Bezos. That's a joke. I don't stand Jeff Bezos. But you know what? Amazon's really good for drag. So, you can't deny that. The most beautiful woman you have ever seen in your whole entire life. You're delusional. Or I'm delusional. Either way, someone's got some delusion about her. So, I used to be all about the bigger the lash, the closer to, I don't know, fucking Jesus. But now I've honestly went for smaller lashes over time, because they're just easier. So I use paper lashes, but they are small. So it's just a small pair of normal lashes for normal girls, and then paper lashes. I just like plonk them on. So I guess I'll share with you my little lash secrets now. I found my brow gel before my glue, and I don't have brows, so anyway, I use the Duo Quick Set lash glue, and then I'll bend these up. So I'll just like bend all the lashes up so they're more visible, and then I take it and I just do a line, but I don't do it on the lash band. I do it on top, because then your lash is gonna sag a little bit just due to weight. And if you do it on top, then it will look normal. And also just generally gives you a more lifted little lash moment. I'm just gonna pick the hair off that, the cat hair. And I'm gonna also do the same on my other lash. And I'm gonna put them on one at a time after I glue both of them. Because then while I'm gluing the second one, the first bit of glue has a chance to dry. And then I wait like, 30 seconds after I glue both of them before starting. Clean off the fingernails with a cloth and some spit. And then also foundation your hands, because we're not monsters. Oh, so soft and dainty, woman hands. Now, time to do the little intro bit to this. I went to fix it and I just broke it more. Ooh, little purple bitch. Look at the titties, get the hair, this hairstyle by me. And then small waist, big hips. Me and you dress up in my house. Bye, Susan.